You see that?
All right. Good evening, East Hampton Town Board. Happy New Year. We're live on Channel 22. We're streaming to YouTube. The phone lines are open. This meeting's being recorded, and Eric Shantz is also joining us on Zoom. So you may begin.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Matthew. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the East Hampton Town Board meeting of Thursday, January 8th, 2026. Michael, if you could please read the roll call.
Councilmember Tom Flight.
Present.
Councilmember David Lease.
Present.
Councilmember Kate Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember Ian Calder-Piedmont.
Present.
Supervisor Kathy Burke-Gonzalez.
Present. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight we have two public hearings followed by public portion and then resolutions. We ask you to please kindly keep your comments to 3 minutes. But before we begin, we have our town crier here tonight, Hugh King. Welcome, Hugh.
Now, this is how the town crier worked in the 1600s and the 1700s. The bell came later. If you look in the town records, James Diamond is paid 2 shillings to warn of a meeting by beating on the drums. I'm going to be bringing the bell for the rest of this year, but I just wanted to show everybody that that's how they were warned of a meeting. Not only did the town appoint a town crier, they also appointed a common whipper. Ooh. He got 2 shillings to whip people. I'll be applying for that job at your next organization meeting.
That
Okay.
comes with no compensation, you
Of
realize.
course.
I've got lots of shillings.
2 shillings? Can you even get 2 shillings?
Plenty
out
of shillings.
Yeah, okay. Well, now I'm going to mention a few things before I start. The executive director of the Montauk Point Historical Society gave me a tour of Second House the other day. Thank you. Thank you. Also, the town board is doing renovations at the Fisher House in Montauk. Thank you again. And now I want to talk about podcasts, okay? Kicking off the semi-quincentennial celebrations to mark the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the East Hampton Historical Society has launched a new monthly podcast entitled Spirit of 76, America in the East Hampton and the American Revolution. The Spirit of 76 podcast was researched, written, and narrated by East Hampton High School student Colin Kelly, okay, who relied on an array of historical documents provided by the East Hampton Historical Society. So they'll be coming out once a month. Now, where can you hear this? Listeners can tune in to the Spirit of 76 via Spotify. I have no idea what that is. As well as finding on the Historical Society's website, easthamptonhistoricalsociety.org. Oh, here's another beauty. Or view our mobile app on www.bloombergconnections.org. I have no idea what that is either. Okay? But they'll be coming out once a month, and it's an East Hampton High School student who has put this thing together. Okay. Now, East Hampton, 1666, the Nichols patent. But more important probably is 1686, the Duncan patent, created the position of town trustee, the original government of East Hampton. This was one of the earliest New World documents to provide for a representative government by elected officials in North America 90 years before the Declaration of Independence. Right here in East Hampton, we had elected representatives. And the townhouse, the building where they met, is still standing next to Clinton Academy. Okay, now what did the trustees do? Well, you know, they set the dates for the cattle drives to Montauk. I just took a page out of the addendum. They agreed to take down the upper galleries in the meeting house. The trustees ran the church. They hired a minister. They took care of the building. They voted to build a house at Fort Pond. They voted to build a house at hither end of Montauk. They voted Philip Hedges to live at Heather End of Montauk. So not only they're building first, second, and third house, they're hiring people to work there. They agreed with Lewis Edwards to live at the Fanning Field at Montauk. Okay? They agreed to let Joshua Penny build a wharf, a landing place near his home. They agreed to let Colonel John B. Decatur liberty to dig at Montauk for earth for the purpose of making paint. Granted Jeremiah Hunting liberty for holding evening conferences in the townhouse. So the town trustees for so many years really were the major engine of this town. And then, Madam Supervisor, when they had the elections and they decided who was going to be elected, they always voted the trustees first, and the supervisor was down at the bottom. That changed, of course. Okay, now the next time I come, I'm going to bring the bell, and the next time I come, I'm going to be talking about Samuel Fishhook Smolford. Okay? Beautiful. Wait a minute. All right, see ya. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, Hugh.
Okay.
All right, Michael, if you could please read the first meeting notice.
The public hearing will be held live and in person by the town board and will be available electronically by video and teleconferencing, and will be televised on local TV, channel 22, and available for live stream on the LTV website, ltveh.org. The public shall be permitted to appear in person, but may also provide comments on the matter being heard by calling 351-888-6331. Any person or party wishing to be heard with respect to the foregoing may do so in person or by agent or by attorney or by written comment addressed to the East Hampton Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, New York, 11937. Comments may also be submitted to the town clerk by email to mhansen, Hansen, and at ehamptonny.gov. All comments must be received by the town clerk by the date and time of the public hearing. Please check the meeting agenda posted on the town's website for any changes and for updated information. Please take notice that the town board hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held on January 8, 2026 at 6 p.m. or as soon after, as this matter can be heard at East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, New York, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled "A Local Law to Amend Chapter 255 Zoning of the East Hampton Town Code, Section 255-1-20 and Section 255-5-50 to provide for the new affordable multiple residence use."
Great, thank you, Michael. Eric, could you please introduce this public hearing?
Sure. So I'm just going to give an overview of what this is about and some updates on where we are in the process. So affordable multiple residence is a proposed new use to be added to the town code that is in keeping with the town's goals of promoting the creation of additional much needed affordable housing. The town proposes to create a new use that is less intensive in terms of housing unit density than a full-scale affordable housing development, and which has restrictions keeping it appropriate for smaller properties. The proposed new affordable multiple residence use would only be permitted on properties within the Affordable Housing Overlay District, and only provided site plan and special permits are issued by the Planning Board. However, it would otherwise permit a property owner to change a single-family residence to a multiple residence, or to build a new multiple residence building of up to 12 units depending upon lot size. All units created would be rental units with the property owner as the landlord. All units would be required to remain affordable in perpetuity, which means a rent not to exceed 130% of fair market rent. All units would be required to be made available to moderate income families, which means households with incomes not exceeding 130% of area median income. All affordable multiple residence uses will need to meet additional special permit criteria, including a minimum lot area of 40,000 square feet, a maximum of 4 units per acre, a maximum of 12 units on any one site, a maximum of 3 bedrooms per unit and 2 people per bedroom. All setbacks, coverage, and gross floor area restrictions are those of the underlying zoning district and must be complied with. energy sustainability requirements to promote green energy usage and sustainable landscaping, and legal requirements to ensure that the units created remain affordable in perpetuity. The local law would also strike the change of use of single-family residence to two-family or other multiple residence use from the town code, which is a similar use that permits converting single-family residences into multiple residences or building new multiple residences. However, the existing use does not require units to be made affordable and does not restrict the use to the AHO. The town board has held a public hearing on this matter on September 18th, 2025. Public comments were received and the town board subsequently discussed these comments, as well as a few changes to the draft legislation. Specifically, the board discussed changes to 1, clarify that the owner of the property or a member of their immediate family may occupy only one of the housing units known as the owner-occupied unit. And 2, to remove the requirement that all units be in multi-unit buildings. The current version of the draft legislation being considered includes both of these provisions and changes. The planning board has reviewed the proposed code change on June 25th, 2025, July 23rd, 2025, and November 5th, 2025. The planning board has sent comments each time to the town board and is in support of adding this use to the town code. The specifics of the proposed new use have been crafted over many months through collaboration of the town board, planning department, Office of Housing and Community Development, and the town attorney's office, among others. If adopted, it would be an additional tool that could be utilized to fix the housing crisis in East Hampton.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, so we have one speaker signed up, Rebecca Holloway from CCOM. Welcome, Rebecca. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you all, and thank you for the opportunity. Good evening. I'm Rebecca Holloway, speaking on behalf of Concerned Citizens of Montauk, Manager of Environmental Science and Advocacy. CCOM appreciates the work being done to advance affordable housing, including the current modifications to affordable multiple residence in Chapter 255. And while the recent provisions are the current focus, we want to again raise the importance of strong energy sustainability requirements, including solar energy and long-term building performance in new housing. The town's well positioned to leverage current opportunities to support this approach, including New York State incentives that reduce upfront costs and the building department's streamlined solar permitting processes. Currently, the code encourages the planning board to consider opportunities for energy efficient design, including solar-ready siting. CCOM respectfully supports strengthening language from consider opportunities to require opportunities for energy efficient design and revise solar-ready to solar-integrated or on-site renewable energy systems. Coordinating solar contractors early in the building process would ensure these measures are feasible and effective, and the code can more clearly support that from the outset. CCOM additionally acknowledges that such language adjustments should be extended to all new construction where appropriate and not just AMRs alone in the future. And such language would be consistent with the town's climate action plan and climate emergency declaration, which commits to make climate mitigation an objective of all planning and zoning decisions. We believe this is an appropriate time to set clear expectations that reflect the urgency of climate action and long-term affordability. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Would anyone else like to address the board on this public hearing? Matthew, is there anyone on the line for this public hearing?
We have one caller on the line.
Okay, please put them through.
All right, go ahead, caller.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, town board, and Happy New Year. It's comforting to be back at it all here with you. I am Jane Meering, a resident of Amagansett. Tonight I'm speaking in two separate capacities, so you may have to run the clock twice for each of both of me. So first, I don my hat and I guess bang my drum as a member of and speaking on behalf of the East Hampton Town Sustainability Committee. On the matter of the AMR proposed legislation, members of this Sustainability Committee spoke, I recall, I believe at 2 public portions at work sessions with input regarding building several sustainable principles into the code. For the September 2025 public hearing, though we didn't speak again at the hearing, The Sustainability Committee made two very significant submissions into the written record for your review and consideration. Unfortunately, when the board had its post-hearing debrief work session, it was represented that only one completely other person participated in the hearing, and our written comments were not acknowledged or considered. So for this subsequent hearing tonight, I just want to note to you that in our advisory capacity to the board, we have re-entered those documents into the record with the town clerk and you today, and I'll leave it to you to review them, but only will say here that they do mostly relate to Section 4 of the draft code, quote, energy sustainability issues. I guess, the goal for the Sustainability Committee is to see these sustainability principles included more as a prerequisite versus a suggestion, for site plan consideration. And in our documents, we did try to make a very reasonable and well-founded case for it. Okay, now I'm going to switch over and I'm going to put on my Jane individual resident, not speaking on behalf of any committee or any appointed board, bonnet. So today I submitted a written input to the record by email, and I won't go through that in detail, but only to summarize. First, I want to say I support the creation and addition of this new AMR use into the code and as an option for addressing the affordable housing crisis. First, I also want to present to you I present to you in the email an suggested alternative wording to the draft Section 4 that does relate to the sustainability and energy efficiency issues. My goal, also separate from the Sustainability Committee, is to also create these issues to be part of the requirements for the special permit, but of course leaving the planning board the discretion to waive some of them in the event of unique conditions on the lot or unique circumstances. In addition, I just raised a few questions again. So it feels, maybe I missed it in there, but these housing units I think should be specified for year-round full-time housing options for residents. Second, the code hopefully should specify that residency can't be contingent on a particular employer or job, or if it is to be, AMR is to be used as some force of, quote, workforce assisted affordable housing, then I believe that in a change of employment status, the resident should have up to 12 months to find other accommodations and move. Third, overall, can we ensure that AMR units can really accommodate a range of percentages of AMI? Obviously, the code says up to 130. I don't know if there's a way to, create more of a span of that spectrum of affordability. Fourth, overall, it's not clear what happens via this code, what happens when AMR development is on a parcel, if the parcel is sold and the next owner does not want to continue the AMR use. It's not clear what happens to all the structures. And then the rest of my comments, I won't go redo them now. Oh, one other thing, with respect to the density, I like obviously the conditions that have been put in Section 3, but my additional recommendation is that overall the code should set not only that density in terms of number of units per acre, but the code should also specify that the average bedroom count overall per unit on any AMR use should not exceed 2. And then the rest, I also looked at the Section 4 and the rest of Section 3. So I'll leave it at that, and I so appreciate your really digging in on this code. I know you've been through it many times, and we're at a second hearing, but this is an important change, and I look forward to hoping that you'll accept both the committees and my individual recommendations, and we'll get to an important new use. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jane. Matthew, is there anyone else on the line?
No, Jane was our only caller.
Motion close?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Michael, if you could read the second meeting notice, please.
Take notice that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing pursuant to Chapter 232 Urban Renewal of the Town Code and of the town of East Hampton, Section 232-1-70, modification of urban renewal plans, in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Pentago Road, East Hampton, New York, 11937, on January 8, 2026 at 6 p.m., or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, to consider the following modification of renewal map EH-6-2. Urban renewal map number 16 in EH-6-2. From the easterly portion of Winslow Avenue, adjacent to urban renewal parcel 16 in map 119, lots 1 through 6 and 23, proposed to be an unimproved right-of-way, to the easterly portion of Winslow Avenue, adjacent to urban renewal parcel 16 in map 119, lots 1 through 6 and 23, proposed for abandonment. Except as amended above, the requirements for urban renewal map EH-6-2 shall remain in full force and effect. Copy of a map depicting a proposed change is available in the office of the town clerk during regular business hours between 9 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, exclusive of holidays. A copy of the proposed changes will also be available at the town's website.
Thank you, Michael. Would anyone like to address the board on this matter? Brian? Welcome, Brian, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. I'm so glad. Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everybody. Good evening. Brian Matthews, Curtis Cooley, and Sharon here on behalf of our clients, Luis and Gloria Martinez, who are the owners of the property at 213 3 Mile Harbor Road. I know this is the second public hearing, so I'll be as brief as I can. We're here in support of their very simple and very standard application to modify the UR map to allow them to abandon the paper road known as Winslow Avenue to the center line as it abuts their property. In this regard, they're looking for the same road abandonment that was approved for and that benefits the neighboring property at 217 3 Mile Harbor Road. And as my understanding is this neighboring property that has opposed this application. Our office and our clients certainly appreciate neighbor concerns, and after all, to my knowledge, there's no indication either way that this is a poor neighbor situation. But the fact remains is that our clients are seeking the same relief that was provided to that property and that property benefits from. So given that the neighboring property benefits from this same road abandonment, it's a tough position to come and stand here and say that it was good for our property, but that you shouldn't get the same relief. Going through the file, it seems as though their objections boil down to, that their claim that this unopened portion of Winslow Avenue should serve as some kind of varies from a nature preserve to a wildlife passage to a natural buffer between these two properties. And that's simply not what this piece of land was intended for. Under the UR map, this land, Winslow Avenue, was intended as a roadway. An intention that is no longer the case and no longer needed, as shown by the recommendation of both the planning board and the town engineer to approve this application. Once that intended use is no longer needed, and once it's found, as the town engineer found that Winslow Avenue is, quote, not intended to be an improved roadway and not planned as a vehicle access route for any parcels in the map, end quote. We don't think it's appropriate for this board to accede to that request and now ascribe some kind of new intended use for this paper road, to have it serve as the requested preserve or wildlife passage or natural buffer. Believe any such action would be the very definition of arbitrary. It's for the same reason that the request that a scenic easement be imposed is also inappropriate. To be perfectly frank, they also raised questions about erosion and runoff. If you look at the aerial images and if you go take a look at the property, The extended portion of this of the 217 property that comes up to the center line here is at a much higher elevation than our client's property, so there's no runoff that would flow uphill and have any impact on them. And they have a substantial asphalt driveway that improves the entire front portion of their property. So, I mean, the idea, there's no justification for the idea that they have the ability to be screened off from neighboring properties and neighboring cars. If they want a screening vegetation, they can put it on their property. If they want to control runoff, they can take steps on their own property to control that. The Alpha Town Code requires them to keep their runoff on their land anyway. Just very briefly, I don't think there's any support to say that, they'll have to suffer some kind of negative adverse impact as a result of this application. The arguments to the contrary just don't seem very compelling. But although we believe the application should be granted as is, to the extent that the neighbors have concerns as an effort of good faith and good neighborly actions, we're willing to agree to the fact they made one claim that they have fences on both sides of their property. I think they said they were not theirs. They don't want to feel fenced in. Our clients have agreed not to put any fence until 10 feet into their property and not put it on the property line, to the hope that gives them some relief. And it would be a front yard in any way, so it wouldn't even be a 6 or 8 foot fence. It would be a 4 foot fence at max anyway, but they don't even have any plans to put in. So we ask that the application be granted.
Thank you, Brian. Would anyone else like to address the board on this matter? Barbara? Well, Barbara, just welcome.
Welcome.
Happy New Year. If you could just state your name for the record so that the
Sure.
clerk can get it.
My name is Barbara Lester. I live at 217 3 Mile Harbor Road, neighboring the Martinez. I understand what you say. My concern is that, okay, so it's not, it's granted as a road. Okay, so it's granted as a road. But they do have a skid steer, several landscaping equipment, and if they do clear it, that's what I'll look at out my front door. So my concern is not for them not to own it, I just don't want it cleared. Because it'll open up to their driveway, which, of course, they could move their driveway somewhere else if they wanted to, but that's just my concern and my husband's concern. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Barbara.
All right, thank you.
Matthew, is there anyone on the line for this public hearing?
We have no callers on the line.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's all for our public hearings this evening. So we're going to move on to public portion. So signed up is Patrick Fallon. Welcome, Patrick, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hello, everybody. Honestly, just up here to say thank you. I'm on the docket tonight for an approval for my first-time home buyer grant assistance program under Councilman Calder's itinerary, I guess. I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, I just want to say thanks to you guys. It's really hard to own a house out here, and having you guys help me out has been a pleasure so far. It's going to help me to stay here and raise my family here, and I guess that's the whole point, right? So I just wanted to show face this new year, say Happy New Year, and say thank you for your consideration and for everything so far. Thanks.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for showing up tonight. Would anyone else like to address the board during public comment? Matthew, is there anyone on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
All right, so we are now going to move on to resolutions.
Thank you. I will start with Resolution 2026-103. This is warrant approval. Warrant number 1A, approval of claims in the amount of $2,527,360.61 for 2025 and $98,386,000 for 2026, and utility warrant 1A in the amount of $54,296.56.
Second.
Sorry, all in favor?
Aye. Apologies. Oh, sorry, scrolling. Yeah. Next resolution is 2026-104. This is a notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 255 zoning of East Hampton Town Code to modify requirements applicable to accessory dwelling units. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby directs that a public hearing should be held on January 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter can be heard, East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, to hear any and all persons either for or against local law entitled Local Law to amend Chapter 255 zoning of the East Hampton Town Code to modify requirements applicable to accessory dwelling units.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Excuse me, guys. Resolution 2026-105 is to appoint additional members to the 2026 Amagansett Citizens Advisory Committee. Be it resolved that Alison Lupo is hereby added as a member to the Amagansett Citizens Advisory Committee for the 2026 calendar year. I'd also like to offer my condolences to the Lupo family for the passing of Gaetano Lupo recently.
My condolences also. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-106 is to approve agreement for CAI Technology GIS Professional Services. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby retains CAI Technologies to provide GIS support services as set forth in their proposal dated November 19th, 2025, at a cost to the town not to exceed $9,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-107 is to approve agreement for CAI Technology GIS Professional Services for Access GIS integration. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby retains CAI Technologies to provide integration of the Access GIS services as set forth in their proposal dated October 29th, 2025, at a cost not to exceed $15,050.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-109 is to approve wellness 60-plus Zumba classes for the Human Services Department.
108.
I apologize all. 108 is to authorize application to the DEC MWRR for capital equipment purchase for the sanitation department. This is for a trommel for use at the East Hampton Town Recycling Center. The cost to the town for this is $344,680. Included in this application is a grant that has been applied for up to a 50% reimbursement for capital equipment purchases.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2026-109 is to approve wellness 60-plus Zumba classes for the Human Services Department. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby approves 60-plus Zumba classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at a fee for the class not to cost $100 per class, with total costs not to exceed $14,400.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-110 is for Human Services Senior Nutrition Program 101. Be it resolved, the town hereby approves 6 Nutrition 101 instruction classes provided by Margaret Iacone, each session to cost $50 and annually not to exceed $300 to the town.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2026-111 is for Wellness 60-plus chair and yoga. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby approves 147 Wellness 60-plus chair and yoga 4 classes on Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. The fee for each class to the town is $125 at a total cost not to exceed $18,375.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-112 is Wellness 60-plus at Ashwell Hall for Qigong. Be it resolved that the Town Board hereby approves 36 Wellness 60-plus Qigong 3 classes to be provided by Margaret Iacone, each session to cost the town no more than $100 at a total cost not to exceed $3,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-113 is Wellness 60-plus for Healthy Vibes through nutrition education classes. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby approves 51 Wellness 60-plus Healthy Vibes through nutrition classes to be provided by Margaret Iacone, each session to cost $100 with a total cost not to exceed $5,100.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2026-114 is for Wellness Qigong Dance. Be resolved, the Town Board hereby approves 49 Wellness Qigong Dance classes provided by Margaret Iacone, each session to cost $100 with total cost to the town not to exceed $4,900.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-115 is for Wellness 60-plus drawing and painting instruction. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby approves 20 afternoon drawing and painting instruction classes taught by Kate Goldman at a total cost to the town not to exceed $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-116 is for Wellness 60-plus and functional fitness. Be it resolved, the Town Board hereby approves 51 functional fitness classes to be provided by Phyllis Davis Wellness Institute of Stony Brook Southampton Hospital, with the total cost of the town not to exceed $3,570.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. 2026-117 is for Wellness 60+ Montauk Community Center Senior Nutrition Meditation. Be it resolved, the town board hereby approves Wellness 60+ meditation for wellness classes at the Montauk Community Senior Nutrition Program to be provided by Lydia Burns. Each session to cost the town no more than $75. The total cost not to exceed $3,450.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Lastly, 2026-118 is an annual maintenance town clerk licensing systems for Edmund Govs Tech 2026. Be it resolved, the proposal of Edmunds Gov Tech, Inc., dated October 1st, 2025, is hereby accepted for the town clerk licensing system software, support, and maintenance at a cost to the town not to exceed $3,403.42 for the 2026 calendar year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. It's my privilege to offer Resolution 2026-119. This is for the Water Quality Improvement Plan 2026. This is the schedule of public hearing for the CPF Project Plan Addition. The public hearing for this will be held on February 5th, 2026 at 6 p.m.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 120 is appoint seasonal snow removal driver in the Highway Department, Christopher Pitts.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 121 is appoint part-time laborer in the Parks Department, Matthew Frazier, retroactive to January 2nd, 2026.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 122 is appoint seasonal snow removal driver in the Highway Department, Michael Gargano, retroactive to December 26, 2025.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 123 is appoint part-time recreational aide, Ryan Bono, effective January 10th, 2026.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 124 is appoint Green River Cemetery caretaker for Carl Hamilton for the calendar year 2026.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 125 is a resolution to authorize license agreements between the town of East Hampton and the East Hampton and Sag Harbor Union Free School Districts regarding the use of the multipurpose turf fields at the Honorable Fred W. Thiel Junior Recreational Facility at Stephen Hands Path for the spring and fall 2026 school year.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 126 is to authorize a CPF acquisition and amend the 2025 Management and Stewardship Plan. This will be for the purchase of 171 Cranberry Hole Road. Purported owner is Lucy B. Sprunger Cookson, Allison Moran, and Carl Bolch III. Locations 171 Cranberry Hole Road, Amagansett, tax map 300-152-1-12. Public hearing on this was held on December 18th, 2025. The purported purchase price for this property is $4,750,000.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 127 is to authorize the Hall Creek South End Preserve Management Plans for 3 Hall Creek Road, 6 and 14 Kings Point Road, Springs. Again, we had this this was discussed at a work session on November 18th, 2025.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Excuse me, 128. So 2025 budget modification for the Highway Department, where we're bringing money over for snow removal costs for calendar year 2025, where we're bringing over the amount of $7,862.74 for the line for signs, also $2,500 from disposal fees and $7,500 for other equipment, totaling $17,862.74 to subcontractor cost.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 129 is a 2025 budget modification for the joint fuel facility. We're decreasing the line for fuel purchases in the amount of $1,090 and increasing the budget line for building and maintenance supplies in the same amount.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 130 is amend resolution 2025-1660 for the Montauk Playhouse to the correct budget line account code.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 131 is the amend resolution 2025-1632 and 2025-1643 for cemeteries. And the budget modification be amended to account code to decrease the account code below for $3,200.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 132 is amend resolution 2025-1555. Budget line is corrected for the Peach Farmhouse restoration. And this is the payment for the permit fees to the Village of East Hampton.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 133 is snowplow contractor for the 2026 season to add Mark Daniels tree service at and this would be it for the 2026 season at the rates provided in resolution 2025-1516.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 134 is accept a donation of a memorial bench. This is a gift from Mary Kate Tischler, whereas Mary Kate Tischler would like to donate a memorial bench as a gift to the town of East Hampton in memory of James Jimmy Tischler, to be placed in front of Street Food on the Green at 99 The Plaza, Montauk. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby gratefully accepts a donation by Mary Kate Tischler to the town of East Hampton.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 135 is accept bid EH 25-054 for the Westlake Boat Ramp. This is to go to Green Velvet Landscaping Incorporated. The amount, which was under proposed budget, is $689,880.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I have Resolution 136. This is a notice of public hearing. Take notice, the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing in the Town Hall Meeting Room on February 5th, 2026 at 6 p.m. to hear comments concerning the following grant of a scenic and conservation easement to the town of East Hampton. The grantor is David Cohen. The location is 136 Town Lane. The reviewing agency is the planning board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2026-137 is to schedule a public hearing. This public hearing will be held on Thursday, January 22nd at 6 p.m. to hear comments concerning the following grant of a scenic and conservation easement to the town of East Hampton. The grantor is Hampton LN LLC. The location is 31 Hampton Lane, Amagansett, and the reviewing agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2026-138 is promotion and provisional appointment to building inspector for Jacob Sutherland. Resolved that Jacob Sutherland be and is hereby appointed on a provisional and contingent basis to the full-time position of building inspector within the building inspector's department at the hourly rate of $36.66, which is grade 28 starting step, which is $76,263.40 annually for a 40-hour work week, effective January 12th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-139 is membership to Building Officials Association of Suffolk County. Whereas the town building department code officials are required to attend training, acquire necessary continuing education credits, whereas the department head feels the 2026 membership to the Building Officials Association of Suffolk County would provide beneficial mandatory training for 5 building inspectors and 1 administrative assistant. Therefore, be it resolved that town building inspectors Richard Normoyle, Dawn Green, Aaron Atkinson, Brandon Gabbard, and administrative assistant 2, Allison McDougall, are authorized to become active members of the Building Official Association of Suffolk County. The financial impact is $330.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2026-140 is special event fees as of January 8th, 2026. Whereas provisions of Chapter 151 special event permits set forth certain fees that shall be required to apply for and process a permit, the special event, which fees are to be established and amended from time to time by resolution of the town board. Resolved, the following fee schedule is hereby adopted and will become effective on January 8th and shall remain effective until modified by further resolution of this board, and the fee schedule is listed below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-141 is to accept grant of a scenic and conservation easement at 54 Firestone Road in Montauk. This is resolved that the town hereby accepts the easement listed below and authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute the same. The grantor is Stonefire Sunset LLC, Christopher Poley, managing member. It's a scenic and conservation easement. The location is 54 Firestone Road in Montauk, and the reviewing agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-142 is to accept road widening easement along the south side of Town Lane North and the east side of Royal Street, map 501. Whereas the owner of certain real property fronting Royal Street, as shown on the subdivision map of Cohen Temper filed in the Suffolk County Clerk's Office, has offered to grant a 10-foot road widening easement for the purposes of improving said Royal Street and for a highway access. And whereas the easement will provide a highway access to and from any public highway and for utility lines over and along the western 10 feet of lots 1, 2, and 17-3 in block 10 of said map number 501, whereas the town board finds the acceptance of the easement is in the best interests of the town and will accommodate existing or future public highway improvements. Resolved that the town board accepts the grant of the easement from the grantor. The grantor is David Cohen, and this is along the south side of Town Lane North and the east side of Royal Street.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 2026-143 is to amend urban renewal map EH-13, urban renewal parcel 8. This is to subdivide the lot. This is whereas the town board held a public hearing on December 18th for a proposed modification of the urban renewal map, whereas the town's consulting engineer has reviewed the proposer and has had no objections, whereas the proposed modifications to the urban renewal plan is an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, and the East Hampton Planning Board issued a negative declaration on July 23rd, 2025, and whereas the town planning board adopted a resolution to approve the subdivision on October 8th, 2025, with the condition of the approval that the town board agreed to modify the urban renewal map.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, and just discussion on this one. I know we had a public hearing, and because of the timing of the break, we didn't have after hearing discussion. So I just want to comment that this is located on Maple Drive, and when we held the public hearing, there were no public comments.
So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2026-144 is to amend urban renewal map SP-3, urban renewal parcel 11 and 14. So whereas we had a public hearing on December 18th for the proposed modification of urban renewal map SP3 of the town's urban renewal plan to change the lot configuration of urban renewal parcels URP 11 and 14. Whereas the town's consulting engineer reviewed the proposal and had no objections to the alteration of the lots, and whereas the town planning board reviewed the proposed modification and recommended that the town board approve the modification, whereas the proposed modification to the urban renewal plan is a type 2 action pursuant to SECRA, whereas the town board finds the proposed modifications to be reasonable and appropriate and in keeping with the town's urban renewal plans.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion?
Yeah.
So also, thanks. Also, we also held the public hearing on the 18th. This was a request to modify and to supply a buildable lot on Hartley, in Hartley Avenue in Springs. We did have comments. They were in support.
So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2026-145 is to amend urban renewal parcel map EH3, whereas the town board held a public hearing on December 18th to consider modification of the urban renewal map EH3. The town's consulting engineer reviewed the proposed modifications and had no objection. The town planning board reviewed the proposed modifications and recommended the town board approve the modifications, whereas the proposed modification is an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA 617-5 and Chapter 128 of the East Hampton Town Code, and the applicant and the planning department prepared an environmental assessment form, whereas the town board has reviewed the EAF and agrees with the conclusions, whereas the town board finds the proposed modifications to be reasonable, appropriate, and in keeping with the urban renewal plans in which it is located. Resolved that the town board hereby adopts a negative declaration pursuant to Chapter 128 of the Town Code and the provisions of SECRA with regard to the proposed modifications.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion, please. And again, because we didn't have a chance to have a post-hearing discussion on this, this is on Pavilion Place, and this actually brings an addition of an access point onto Abraham's Path. Basically, this was brought to us from by Charlie Collins, correcting some errors that were in the map, and at this public hearing, there were no public comments.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2026-146 is to retain outside counsel Peter D. Johnson Esquire for 2026. Resolved that the town of East Hampton requires the service of outside counsel to represent and advise the town in matters concerning tax certiorari and tax assessment for the 2026 fiscal year. Resolved that payment to said counsel shall be at the rate of $195 per hour, plus cost and disbursements, including but not limited to title fees, court filing fees, and appraisal expenses not to exceed $30,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 147, this is provisional appointment to office assistant, Spanish speaking, for Angelica Yaramillo, with the town clerk's office at an hourly rate of $26.74, which is $48,658 annually for a 35-hour work week effective January 12th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 148, this is to authorize employee training for crash management for police department for Nicholas Kachanas, not to exceed, the amount not to exceed $4,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 149, this is a first-time homebuyers down payment assistance program for Fallon, down payment assistance in the amount of $30,000.
Second and move for comment. I'd just like to thank the clerk's office and the housing department for helping bring this forward. I know we were reached out to by the applicant to ensure that this didn't impact their mortgage application, so I just want to thank those departments accordingly.
So, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Congratulations, Patrick, and good luck.
Yeah.
Resolution 150, this is to approve and hire a subcontractor for the town clerk, Carol Brennan, at an hourly rate of $100, not to exceed $10,000, effective retroactively to January 1st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to withdraw Resolution 2026-151. Resolution 2026.
Yeah, we need a second.
Yep, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 152. This is to retain professional service, Municipal Valuation Services, Inc., for 2025-26, small claim valuation and processing services, and an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 153, this is to appoint part-time office assistant in the tax receiver's office, Mackenzie Lenahan, at an hourly rate of $26.05, effective January 9th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have Resolution 2026-154. It's a provisional appointment to Senior Airport Attendant Michael Rosinski. Michael Rosinski is hereby appointed on a provisional basis for the full-time position of Senior Airport Attendant with East Hampton Town Airport, and an annual salary of $62,874.03 for a 40-hour work week effective January 12th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
155 is to authorize employee training. This is for instructor certification for the police department. Sergeant Royal is hereby authorized to attend such training with the financial impact of $993.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
156 is a 2025 budget modification for the airport for year-end utility bills. We're decreasing outside professional in the amount of $4,728 and increasing light and power in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
157 is a budget modification for the town attorney's office in the B fund, and this is for 2025 year-end outside counsel costs. We're decreasing contingency in the amount of $30,000 and increasing outside professional in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
158 is a 2025 budget modification for the airport for year-end fuel costs. We're decreasing outside professional in the amount of $10,177 and increasing subcontractor costs in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
159 is a 2025 budget modification for the police department for year-end utility expenses. We're decreasing New York State retirement in the amount of $17,000 and increasing light and power in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to offer Resolution 2026-160. This is to authorize reimbursement for the town supervisor, where Supervisor Kathy Burke-Gonzalez will attend the Governor's State of the State address hosted by Governor Kathy Hochul from Monday, the 12th to the January the 14th. Now hereby not to exceed $1,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 161 is to approve the purchase of refreshments. The East Hampton Town Police Department from time to time hosts meetings, training sessions, the Montauk St. Patrick's Day Parade and Civilian Police Academy. So this gives them $4,000 for the calendar year 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
162 is to authorize payment of previous year's invoice. This is a 2023 invoice for Marine Patrol from Galls in the amount of $311.13.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
163 is a recognition of a town holiday for December 26, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
164, pages are sticking together, is to authorize the 2026 blanket non-CPF appraisals and surveys in an amount not to exceed $15,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
165 is for the 2026 blanket non-CPF appraisals for the industrial park in an amount not to exceed $7,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2026-166 is to approve the hire of Eric Bregman Esquire as a special prosecutor for 2026 at the hourly rate of $100 in an amount not to exceed $10,000. And I'd just like to say that Mr. Bregman will be the third retired town attorney that'll be working with us. He's joining John Jelnicki and Ed Reale. So we've got a great deal of institutional knowledge in our town attorney's office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
167 is a resolution to hire Lawrence Idamim Consulting Corp. To conduct an appraisal of 66 Industrial Road, Wainscott. Pursuant to the requirements of the FAA, Lawrence Idamim Consulting Corp. is hereby retained to review the two prior proposals of 66 Industrial Road, Wainscott, and as well as the current market conditions to determine the fair market value of the premises. The fee for said appraisal shall not exceed $8,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
168 is to retain for 2026 outside professional Flynn stenography and transcription. This is for the town attorney's office in an amount not to exceed $3,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
169 is to retain the law office of Vincent Toomey for general matters 2026, and this is for labor-related and employee matters in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
170 is to retain the law office of Vincent Toomey for PBA matters in 2026. Again, this is for labor law and in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
171 is to retain David Grill Esquire and the law firm of Rifkin Radler LLP as outside counsel for construction-related matters for 2026 in an amount not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
172 is to retain Sokoloff Stern LLP as special counsel in Soto versus Tukolsky et al. For 2026 in an amount not to exceed $20,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
173 is to retain Dan Ruzzo and Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah LLP as outside environmental counsel, and this is for SECRA for 2026, and this shall not exceed the sum of $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
174 is to retain the law firm of Joseph W. Prokoff, PLLC, 2026, and this is to advise the town board on matters relating to fire services law, and the amount shall not exceed $15,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
175 is to retain Kaplan Kirsch for 2026, and this is to represent the town in aviation matters in an amount not to exceed $200,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
176 is to retain Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah LLP for the New York State DEC, Sand Highway, and Seaview at Amagansett for 2026 to represent the town in litigation matters and to give counseling on non-litigation matters in an amount not to exceed $75,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
177 is to retain Sokoloff Stern LLP as special counsel on Sunrise Tuttle for 2026 in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
178 is to retain Jasmine Skellinger Naradran LLP and to retain as outside counsel in ZBA matters for 2026 in an amount not to exceed $30,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
179 is to retain outside counsel Jaspin, Skellinger, Naradran, LLP for general matters in 2026 in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
180 is to approve the hire of subcontractor in 2026 budget modification. Resolved that Richard Vacchio is hired as a subcontractor for the building department at the weekly rate of $2,700 in an amount not to exceed $35,000 plus mileage reimbursement. And there's also a budget modification. We're going to increase the revenue account code for safety inspection fees in the amount of $40,000 and increase expenditure account code subcontractor costs in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
181 is to accept the proposal from HMMH East Hampton Town Airport. The Town of East Hampton has retained Harris, Miller, and Hanson, Inc., and an international leader in environmental noise and vibration control and airport and airspace planning to perform various studies and analysis at the East Hampton Municipal Airport in past years. And whereas the town wishes to retain HMMH to continue to evaluate operations and complaints associated with aircraft operations at the East Hampton Town Airport, and whereas the town has received a proposal from HMMH to prepare an analysis of 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025 East Hampton Town Airport noise complaints and operations. And this proposed scope of work includes 3 primary tasks, and this is in an amount not to exceed $164,440 paid for out of the outside professional line in the airport fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
182 is to approve professional services, and this is for the graphic design for our quarterly newsletter. And this is with Carrie Lampeter Communications, KLC, and an amount not to exceed $1,500 for each quarterly newsletter with a financial impact for 2026 of $6,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
183 is the authorization for advances for authorized borrowing, and this is resolved that the Budget Office has the authority to advance money as appropriate and needed in accordance with provisions of Section 16510 in relation to all bond authorizations adopted by the town board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
184 is to authorize a settlement for an East Hampton Town Police Department pickup truck. An adjuster from PMA Insurance Company deemed the vehicle a total loss and offered the town a settlement sum in the amount of $11,725.43 for the damages to the town's property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
185 is to approve the East Hampton Town Fire Department sword training at Box Hill Nature Preserve. Be resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the East Hampton Fire Department to utilize the lands within the Box Hill Nature Preserve to fell trees along the fire access road and hiking trails for sword training purposes on dates occurring between Saturday, February 14th, 2026 and Sunday, February 15th, 2026 at the hours of 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on both days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 186, 2026-186 is to schedule a public hearing for a proposed grant of a scenic and conservation easement at 20 Bentigo Road in Amagansett. The public hearing will take place on Thursday, January 22nd at 6 p.m. So comments may be heard concerning a grant of the scenic easement to the town. The grantor is Joseph McCary and Kim Stoller. The location is 20 Bentigo Road, Amagansett, and the reviewing agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's all the resolutions for tonight. Are there any other matters that we need to bring up? Is there any need to go into exec session?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to close.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and thank you, Matthew at LTV.
You got it. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.